Welcome to Wizards Outlook. Join tonight, Raymond Lyons. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. And for the Wizards, you guys should be kind of used to this theme of things. They took on the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas, this was like the end of a road trip out east. Somehow it looked like a bit of a fresher team, and the 109-87 win. There was a game. They found out that Rui was going to be playing close to game time due to a shoulder issue, so it kept him out. Bertans and Ish Smith came back tonight. So Bertans was inserted into the starting lineup late after the news about Rui. That said, 4 players scored in double figures for Washington, 6 for Dallas. The biggest difference in this one is despite being on the end of the road trip, for Washington, you're at the end of a homestand. And Dallas got it done. So, Ray, before I sound too mean or anything of that nature, let you go ahead and chime in here.
This wasn't a surprise. Bill's already out. You mentioned Rui being a late scratch. So, yeah, man, I didn't expect much from this game. I just wanted to see him, compete to the best of their ability. The first half they stuck around, but given the way the game was going, I wasn't sure how long they would be able to sustain that. If Robin Lopez is going to be your primary scoring option, and that's what you're leaning on to keep you in the game offensively, then at some point it's going to get dark. And no disrespect to Lopez, but that just is what it is. He's never been a big scorer, so that plan of attack I didn't think will have sustainability. The defensive end was what it was. The Wizards, they never really they rarely dictate anything that happens in the game. They just kind of go along with what's going on, and you're not going to win many games that way. They held Dallas to a pretty low field goal percentage for most of the game, but they just matched their futility. If you can't get stops and you can't score, then eventually that lead is going to stretch out a little bit, and that's what happened down the back end of the game. Dallas picked up steam as the game went on, and the Wizards just kind of faded away. But again, man, when you got two of your top 3 scorers out and one of your best defenders, it's a tall mountain to climb from jump. So yeah, man, I'm really not gonna get to dissect this game too much, because what more do you expect, in this type of situation? But to your point, Wilson, Dallas, they were on the tail end of a lengthy road trip, and the Wizards, they had the benefit of being at home for some time. So if anything, that should give you some type of mental edge, coming into this game. Thinking that that's at least one thing in your favor. These guys, they're probably beat down and tired. We can jump on them. We just got to muster up some some excitement and come out full steam ahead, even with 2 of your top guys out. But, it is what it is. It was good to see Ish Smith back. It's going to take him some time to work into things. He's been out since February. So yeah, man, not too much more to say, man. It was a game.
That's what you're going with. It was a game. But now, like you said, it was Ish coming back. I know he couldn't find a shot as expected, like you said. Not going to come back super sharp when you've been out for a month. What he did come back with was another willing passer and somebody else willing to create. Denny kind of made a nice little living off understanding when Denny that when Ish is driving baseline, I got to, I slide down the middle of the lane. Mm-hmm. Got a great chance of getting the ball. So that was cool seeing that. But again, it's some of the same old things we've been talking about. Like, we know Bill's not there, the late scratch with Rui. But again, defensively, Jalen Brunson was unbothered. I'm not even going to get to Luka. Jalen Brunson was unbothered. unbothered. Dorian Finney-Smith was comfortable. And Dorian Finney-Smith isn't asked to score, but his 11, he was comfortable. Wasn't a lot. You got Melly that came over from the Pelicans. He had 10 points and 8 rebounds. Luka's gonna Luka, and it didn't even feel like they got the full Luka experience to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, to me, the thing that changed the game was just Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
He came off the bench and it gave them a little something different. And Washington could never really, anytime he was on the floor, they could never really, they cut into the deficit just a little bit. Here comes a Brunson floater. Cut into a deficit again. Here comes Brunson with a steal. They're gonna play to somebody else. And the other thing that was crazy to me, I was just sitting there watching the vast array of floaters between Luka and Brunson tonight. It was crazy. You saw every type of right, left-handed floater and push shot you could ever imagine. We saw them all tonight. And obviously they're not the same player by any means, but they're similar in the fact that once they get you on their hip, you're at their mercy. You're just at their mercy. And Brunson's done a really good job of being a consistent threat. I think he averages 12 on the season. He had 12
Mm-hmm.
at the half. Off the bench for Dallas, and that's what you ask your depth to do, especially on nights like this, instead of a road trip. He was there to give them just enough of the shot in the arm, if you will, to get to keep them from tanking too bad, because they look tired and beat up, but yet they okay, so they did win by a dub. They got them by 22. And you could physically see them struggling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not being funny, not being extra, anything like that. But Dallas looked extremely lethargic, and then Washington was just it's this kind of same out of sorts we've seen most of this year on the defense end of the floor. And obviously, yes, we know who they were missing, but look, Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway Jr., Boban jumps in to start for Porzingis, 15 and 12 for him. And like you said, if you got Boban and Robin Lopez canceling each other out, it's two big guys, guys producing in a game. On one for one team that's a good thing, for another team that's a bad thing. And kudos to Robin Lopez, he did step up. Those 18, they needed every one of those 18 points, especially in the first half where they were kind of going through it a little bit. He was a consistent threat, but and also we'll get into it again because the questions always seem to revolve around the same things. But this roster, they have who they have, and it is what it is. There's nobody coming through that door to save them, to change things at all. But yeah, this is one of those losses, like you said. It's nothing to go overboard talking about. Nothing's going to drastically change until folks get a little bit healthy. Bertans came back, like you mentioned, so I mean that's a positive. But again, with him, he had 11 points. I'm gonna need more than 2 rebounds from you. But your first night back, I'm gonna let you cook. It's cool. It's your first night back. Ish came back, struggled to shoot the ball. Let you go. But that's just one of the things that we've been talking about. Like, you're there to do a thing. It was a couple passes. Denny driving baseline, found him for corner looks, and don't get it. It kind of hurts, especially when you don't have enough firepower on a night like this.
Mm-hmm.
Those things matter a little bit. And the turnovers, Dallas turned it over 7. Again, unbothered. 7 times. And I feel like 5 of the 7 were unforced. So, it wasn't anybody forcing it. It's just, oh, my bad. Sorry.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just the thing there. But look, man, you have anything else we can get to these comments? In terms of what's coming up next, I'll look at that. You go ahead. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Nah, man.
I'm good. Okay. So obviously tomorrow, no Wizards game for tomorrow. But look, man, they got stuff. They got the Raptors in Tampa, which is the new technical home for the 2021 season for Toronto. They're in Tampa, so they're on the road for that. Night off and taking on Orlando, which they don't have Vooch, Fultz, Isaac. What they do have? A group of annoying dudes who play extremely hard, because folks are trying to make sure they have spots somewhere in the association next year. Play very, very hard. You got the Warriors are going through all types of things, but if that's a night that Steph's there, can't rule that out, right? Just, hey, look, I'm just here to be honest, right? It's what we're here to do. You got the Suns after that on the 10th. This is part of that road trip we were talking about a couple nights ago. They're not a fun team to play. Let's just be completely honest there. No one's looking for that. You got the Jazz on the 12th. Again, not fun. All on the road. You got the Kings again, which we've seen in the past. That's not exactly something where you just check off the calendar. Can't rule it out. So, hate to be that person, just simply saying, they don't get back here until the 16th against the Pelicans. And that's against, the strongman front court. If they're healthy. So, we'll see how things go, man. But they got a nice trip out west after this homestand they've had, which they definitely didn't capitalize on. Despite all that, because the East is the East and 2021 is 2021, they're somehow not mathematically eliminated from anything at this point because the NBA, I don't know. The East is weird. In the West, people are fighting, like in the East, I don't know. Like, I don't really have words for it, but we'll get to these comments. And again, thank you guys for providing these each and every week, or each and every night, rather. We'll start here, Ray, from Jeremy Harville. I'm taking a break from the Wizards for at least a week. I just can't keep giving a couple hours of my free time. Wow, to this team. Great show as usual. I always enjoy the analysis. Your comments, sir.
Hey, Mr. Harville, if we didn't have to do this show, I'd be right with you, brother. I mean, it's tough to willingly sit down and give your time to and dedicate it to this product that they're putting out. It's when you get a game like that Detroit game a few nights ago. Like if they don't care for the 2.5, 3 hours, then wash it out, man. But they're the team that we got to talk about. So we're going to keep watching and keep talking about them. Hopefully, you don't boycott the show while you're boycotting the team. So
I ain't gonna lie, I'm jealous. You said a week away? I got a whole day, and then they right back right here on the mental on Monday. So I'm jealous, sir. Good day to you. You enjoy your week away. All right, net of GLC. Question: as much as turnovers are mentioned or seem to be the be all end all, is it fair to say that Russ turnovers aren't? I don't give a turnovers and or I got to make something happen turnovers. I'm sure. I think that's fair. But again, to me, I don't really care to take the time to differentiate between the two because he's not a rookie. If it was a rookie, I'm right there. I'm ready to have that conversation with you all day long. As a vet, it's all you, Ray.
Yeah, I'm on the same wave, man. Like, we know who Russell Westbrook is. Of course, he's trying to make something happen, but that doesn't excuse him. You don't get a good job, good effort, because you're trying to make something happen, but you're giving the ball away 5 times a game as the point guard. Unacceptable. So either he's got to his decision making's got to be better, or he's got to put guys in different positions to be successful, to eliminate some of them turnovers. Like some of these passes are questionable. Sometimes, guys aren't ready. It's bouncing on their hands and it ends up in the in possession of the other team. But yeah, we're not gonna give that excuse. Yeah, he's on the court. He plays hard every night. That's never been a question for him. He's definitely trying to make something happen, but he's got to be more efficient in what he's doing. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I would liken it to a quarterback in the NFL. Like we'll watch football or whatever. Like you got a quarterback that even despite them trying to make something happen, we're still like, hey, throw it away. You don't have to take a chance or something of that nature. So it's not too much different. I'm kind of right where he's coming from. And again, this is not to say this is all the turnovers on this team are his fault. This is not something we've ever said. But again, averaging close to 5 a game, you got to take your fair share for that as well. And sometimes it's simple as this: like if I know that so and so can't handle a certain type of pass, I got to change up the way that I deliver it to them. Because clearly, by this point, they're incapable of adjusting, right? So maybe I should, even if it's not really my issue, but those turnovers goes on my stat sheet. I might think about how I need to scoop those to you. Do you need to see it bounce first? Like, do I need to make sure I make legit eye? Like, you laughing, but I'm serious. Like, do I need to make sure I make eye contact with you so you know? Like, and and again, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just serious, and that's one of those things where I think folks take that for granted when people talk about like that's kind of like the difference when you talk about like some of the great passers, um where those fine little details, they do that without thinking or something they seek out. There's is a part of their thought process initially versus somebody's kind of just, hey, I see you. Like I can identify you're open. Here's the ball. So like that's one thought process, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. There's somebody else is on a different level. Like, oh, I see you. Oh, that's Ray. His pocket's on his left. Let me make sure he get like I need to throw a bullet past the Ray in the left corner.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, Ray, you know what I'm saying? It messes up Ray's pull. Cool. I know if Ray's coming off a screen, he don't like I need to lead that a little bit behind him. Yeah, and it sounds extra, but it's part of playing a position. Just you know what I'm saying? And this is one of those things where when that trade was made, again, not to keep going back, but like, yeah, that's part of it. Because you had one of those guys that innate stuff, that little extra super tedious stuff. They did that on autopilot. Like we watched him make people money, and all they did was sit in the corner and catch and shoot. But the ball was, you know what I'm saying? The ball is there.
Right.
Like we talk about, everyone talks about LeBron, and one of the things that make LeBron so great is passing. He really gets the fine parts of it, like the graduate level parts of it. Like even when he makes the crazy cross court pass, like it's a dime. It's
Mm-hmm.
exactly where it needs to be. It's hardly offline. And if most of the time with him, like actually, like if it seems like it's offline, I usually give him benefit of the doubt that it's actually for a reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about the receiver. Like that's the place I'm at with it. Because I'm like, well, if he put it like that, why do you like to catch it like that? Like this is the first thing I'm thinking. Because now I want to see the next time you do the same thing as the ball delivered the same way. Because I know he's like anal retentive about that. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So that's just one of those things. This is not to knock Russ at all. This is again one of those things where you accept he is who he is, and just simply as that, part of what you bring to the table, you limit it to a degree. Like you're not going to turn into freaking Jason Kidd, bro. We're not going to ask you to do that. You are who you are. You're however old you are, like you're who you are. Cool. And that's like we've all said to a man, you gotta live and die with of who he is.
Yeah.
This is the good and the bad with it. There's a lot of good. And some nights you gotta hope that the good is so much it outweighs the bad. And on the nights where that line's kind of blurry, you're in trouble.
Mm.
That's it. And it's not an indictment against nobody. It's living in reality and just being real. It's, again, like I said, I'm not mad at him for anything that happened. Like again, I've never been mad at him for anything that happened here because this ain't a group that fits what he brings to the table.
Right.
If you told me go get Russ and put some stuff around him, and maybe Brad, and I might choose like Gafford or something. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Like those would be the two, and after that, nah, let me go shopping. Let me go pick and choose some things because we just being honest. But all right, we got one more of these. Yeah, I gotta pull it up on my phone because y'all trying to hurt my eyes. They try to get me out of here, right? All right. Actually, this isn't that bad. From Hedva, on point commentary as always. Much appreciated. So refreshing to hear your voices of reason after the Fire Brooks and Denny is trash bus madness on social media. Hey man, you gotta love it. That's what 2021 is in sports across the board. Everything's bad immediately, permanently from here on out, and it can never change. These are the rules. To diehard Wizards fans, I just want to say you saw this roster. You didn't really expect it to be a playoff team, did you? I'm just as frustrated as you all. But come on, it shouldn't have taken 30 games to realize they needed athletic centers for offensive and defensive rebounds, and not only the starting lineup but the bench too. Look at what happened with Thomas Bryant with that. You certainly expect athleticism and experience from the wings for solid defense and 3 point as well. But apparently, Tommy Shepard had different ideas. If he counted on getting the goods in the department from a 6'9" international prospect, a rookie who's mostly played as a point guard, then well, his mindset wasn't to win games. So what we had from the get-go was a poorly constructed team that, in addition, got struck by unimaginable misfortunes. First, we had Ruiz Pink Eye, then Russ and Bertin's injuries, all of them key players, then the health protocols, and injuries again. Call it bad luck or bad management. It won't change the standing. No need for fans to act like spoiled children who want to break everything down when they're not getting their wins. Wow. Wow. It's all you, Ray.
Hey man, I don't have anything to add, man. Like, I mean, it's basically what we've been saying since what, December 22nd. Like, I mean, yeah, man. It's because, and then like we get it, all the extracurricular stuff that happened and the unpreventable things like injuries and and the hiatus due to COVID and all that. But yeah, man, some things that have happened on court aren't excusable even by those catastrophes. But to the point of the comment, yeah, it's been rough sledding this year. And going into the season, if you had a shred of common sense, you probably could have foreseen some of this. I mean, like we've been talking about the trade since it happened. It wasn't it wasn't a smart move. For whatever reason it went down. But yeah, that was that's getting things started off on a bad note. And then you, on top of that, you got you got the 10 plagues of Egypt you got to deal with. So yeah, man, it's been a rough season for all involved. But despite the hardships, some things that happen on the court just shouldn't be happening. They just need to show some fight, show some spirit, act like they've been playing basketball their whole lives. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Just do that stuff every single game. And if you do that and still lose, then what have you? We all know this is the most talented roster. We're not expecting 55 wins. But they've proven that if they do all the little things and compete, then they can have some measure of success. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it. Like it shouldn't be as bad as it is. That's where I'm at with it.
Oh yeah. And before we close, I'm kind of with you on this, right? So we're here or whatever in this moment. Um, I'm gonna say there's no way, no reason rather, that you should. Okay, you got the same record as the Magic, right? We saw all the people they just got rid of, right? They just gave people the teams trying to make the playoffs and a contender. They were like, hey, I know you lost Jeremy Grant, Denver. Here's Aaron Gordon. He's ready to come be available and enjoy life. Look, he's ready to go. He'll cut and dunk and play defense willingly. If you leave him wide open, he'll even hit threes. Hey, Zach LaVine, we're in Chicago doesn't want to let go of you. You guys got a new GM. Here's Nikola Vucevic. I know you guys have been waiting for Markin and Wendell Carter to do something. This guy's already doing it. Here you go. Like they're giving up things. The other things they want to build around. Both of those guys, for injury reasons, they're not available. Markel, Jonathan, Fulton, Isaac are not here. And they literally got a roster full of, picks, first round picks trying to find their legs in the league, some G League guys, some fringe guys, and some and youth. Like it's got a bunch of just stuff, a random collection of things in Orlando, but they play hard as hell, regardless who's out there, and that's all Ray's asking. You can even if it's wrong, it's whatever, 100 miles per hour. Like they scrapping down there. The pieces don't even match. Like I think I seen a lineup with like Kem Birch and Wendell Carter Jr. in it on purpose, and they got the Clippers out of there the other night. Those things those should never be together on the floor at the same time because they don't go together. You know what I'm saying? Like my man Terrence Ross there in the trade the line posting the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air memes when Will's in the living room and everybody's going. Man pulled the what was the movie where the dude was like, I'm the captain now? He was posting all types of
I can't. The name escapes you right now.
the Captain Phillips or whatever that dude like. He was posting all types of memes because it's real. Like he's just there. Fournier's coming off the bench, not doing nothing for Boston, but he's not in Orlando anymore. Like, play hard. That's all he was asking for. Like, we know what this year was, man. As soon as the trade happened, we knew exactly what it was because we were amped up going into the year. Like, dang, this is the most stuff John's had around him since. And you moved him. Now we're here, and man, dug your way through it. That's why I gave up my fandom. I'm good. and go figure. Former team I used to root for they're pretty decent right now. I'm not going back. They're 7th. They're 24 and 25. Won't name the team, but they're one game under 500. It took like 12 years to get to be 500. Don't be them. And this is the other thing too. Going in next year, if you want to do some things with the roster, whatever, what have you, you don't even know what's going to happen. Like with the assets that you have, Lord forbid, you have to move on from Brad or whatever happens. Like there's a lot of things up in the air. Like again, this is just we don't know what's going to happen, but you should play hard. That's what I'm saying. Play as if you're trying to make sure you got a job in the association next year. That's all anyone's asking. Because some of y'all, decisions will be made. We'll see. You got anything else, Ray? I know we'll be back later for within the Madness, the men's Final Four edition. But got anything else for this edition of Wizards Outlook?
Man, nothing else for these guys.
All right, man. We look forward to your wonderful comments for Monday night. So we'll check in with you guys then. Have a great week.